have you ever had a case where it went like the best it could have?
Oh, yes.
Like,
Have
what's
I ever?
your most
Yes.
like fulfilling moment? What was the most fulfilling thing?
I guess what was the outcome? What was the situation that the client had, and what was the outcome that they got?
Well,
Like something that you'll always like remember.
right. Well, there's so many because I'm just so successful. No, I'm just. I actually
Pick one of the 1,000.
I remember the first case that I did when I was by myself. I went out on my own as a solo practitioner, and I think it was 2002. We still had the wheel. Don't worry. We didn't have the internet, but we had the wheel. We're good. Anyway, there was a case that I got. A gentleman, a former Marine, came to me, and it was basically if you didn't have money and didn't have time, you'd come to Ragdoll. So someone referred it to me because they didn't want it because it was not enough time. I think it was a Friday. The trial was on a Monday.
Oh, God.
And it was a custody case. They were fighting over a little girl and a little boy. And maternal grandparents were also fighting. So you had mom, who was represented by a seasoned attorney, and you had grandparents who were represented by an attorney who had about my level of experience, plus or minus, and who is now very well known, and me. So I met with my client and tried to prepare as best I could and filed a motion for continuance and a motion for mediation. And then at that time, the rules had changed such that there was a new rule that required us to, again, if these are lawyers listening, this is a secret.
If you are a lawyer, click out of the video now.
just pan out.
Skip to blank.
We were now required to file an affidavit reciting the health insurance for the child, that if the child or children had health insurance and how it was held, etc. And so I read that section in the code, the family code, and it said that if temporary orders had not yet been had, then the court shall not, which is not discretionary, it shall not have a trial until the parties have filed this. So, I've tried that recently and the court said that's overruled. And I'm like, but it says shall, Your Honor. And I won't say which judge, but she was like, that's overruled. I'm like, my head was going to blow up. I'm like, ah. Anyway, so that was a 2-day trial. Anyway, but this one, the judge actually, Judge Parks in the 247th, she was the associate judge then. And she opened her book and she read it and she's like, by golly, I think, because she was trying to help me, I think, sort of give me a little time. But on the other hand, this gentleman had the opportunity to get an attorney. So the judge is being judicious and is weighing that. And so she opens the book and says, yep, shall not. Sorry. So 2 weeks and be gone. So we went away for 2 weeks and went to mediation with Mary Shawn O'Reilly, who has now been a district, like on and off district judge for like 37 years. Very well-known lady. So I went to her for mediation, and it turns out that the mom was a dancer, and
a dancer.
Yes, a dancer, and a stripper. So mom's a stripper, and her stripper name, as an homage, was her daughter's name.
What?
Oh, no.
Which happened to be, Candy. So I was like,
no.
So it's an homage. I'm like, really? That's come on, man.
Weird.
No.
I'm like, that's
actually
just not okay. So anyway, it's not actually candy. I'm using a different name, but it's.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It sounded like candy. It's a drink that sounds like
brandy.
Candy. Maybe.
Oh.
So
Sandy.
No, I think you got it in one. So anyway, the point is that it was ugly, and her parents were going to be in the courtroom for the trial.
Yeah.
So before I hurt you, I actually will give you an opportunity to come clean. I figuratively call it come to Jesus. So I asked the attorney on the other side to come talk to me, and I said, look, here's the deal, honey. I got her dead to right on stripping, and she's using her kid's name. Sexy. Judge's gonna love that. And by the way, she's gonna have to testify about this in front of her parents. So, and it's not going to be pretty, and I don't really want to do this. And if you make me, I have to,
Yeah.
because we have to figure out child support. So I learned a trick from my old boss. If you know the dancer's name, then you can subpoena the person who handles the bookkeeping at the club, and they come and they will tell you how much they make. Not tips, but and then we talk about tips, etc. How many shifts do you do? How much do you often make? But it's a thing.
Yeah.
You can deny it, that's fine, but the person is going to recognize you as someone who goes by that call sign and dances every Saturday night at whatever time. So I was like, I didn't tell her that I'd subpoenaed this person, but I'm like, I don't want it to get ugly and it's going to get very uncomfortable. Well, they offered my guy non-primary and I think very little visitation and
The other side, right? The opposing party.
yes, the other three.
Yeah.
Granny, grandpa, and mom offered my guy like what he wasn't going to be able to live with. So we went away and we had a trial, and the trial lasted about a week, I want to say.
Is that long?
Yes.
Typically? Yeah.
Very long. So every time what started happening was, sorry, I haven't hit. Every time in the chambers, on the way back from chambers, where the judge would call us in and say, "Don't you want to settle? Can't you figure it out? Make some kind of, end run here." No. So then when we were walking back on the way to court down the chambers, I'd be muttering in the judge's ear, "Well, you understand that the plaintiff has to pay their own way. So, I'm just saying that if you rule against my guy, if you rule for my guy, we want attorney's fees here because it's dragging out." And, just making my little speech on the way back to the bench, just in her ear. So it turns out that he got primary custody. He
nice.
got no domicile restrictions, so he was able to move back to, I think it was Louisiana, Mississippi, to be with his mom. And the grandparents got poured out. But I did know that they had another house. And given that this is Texas, the only way you can get a judgment that's meaningful is if you can get a lien against the property. So the only question I asked the grandparents on the stand was, "So what's the address of your other property?" And mom got a non-primary, possession order and was ordered to pay child support. So that was my my
Complete
case.
turnaround.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
But there's another side to the story. You want to hear the sad side?
Yeah.
As in, welcome to the world of family law.
Oh, no. No, we don't want to hear the sad sgoing
Wait, did the kid become a dancer too?
No, Mario, give me
No.
a tissue.
I'll do you one better. So what happened was, it was going to be part of my book, man. Anyway, so a couple of years later, I get a call from a lady, and she reminds me of the case, tells me the names, and she says she's the grandmother. She's my client's mom, dad's mom, right? The paternal grandmother. And the children had been living over there. And so it turned out that my client had been involved in a single car, an accident. He drove into an abutment on one of the bridges, and the little girl had the same STD that he had.
Stop.
And so she was trying to figure out how she could get custody and if I could help. And so that's how that story ended.
Oh my God.
Welcome to family law.
Dang.
So it's a victory, but it was, it kind of makes you wonder sometimes. Sorry.
But you do the best that you can do in the moment.
Right, you do.
Because stuff like that,
Right.
it just happens.
That's one of the ones that stands out. The other one is the one that started as a divorce and ended as a probate case, but that's a different story.
Oh no, somebody died in a divorce. During the divorce.
Right. The husband shot himself.
Oh God.
And the little boy, the son, found him in the bathroom. Anyway, fun stuff.
Oh man. Thank you for watching another episode of Legal Lounge. If you enjoyed this episode, you can always give our office a call to schedule your free 30-minute consultation with one of our team members. Check the description below and give us a call today.